YouTube, how's it going? You're hanging out with myself, Didi Chicago, on our fully disclosed conversation. As per usual, I'm super excited because I'm hanging out with cool people and also we're having such amazing conversations. These are things that you need to know. Let me tell you something while you're training, while you're just taking care of your body, especially as us females, we have to know all this information. And I'm sitting with Celeste, a K1 kickboxing champion. So you need to zoom in and just tune in because the gems that are about to be dropped here, you want to be listening. So let's get into it. Welcome, Celeste. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and thank you for having me today.
It is such an honor to have someone who's been so dedicated to their craft for such a long time, because you say that you've been training since you were 11 years old. So just tell me a little, just break that down a little bit from 11 years old till now. How has the industry been for you as a woman? And especially because now you're a woman, so much happens with our body. We ovulate and we want to own that. So just a brief one, since you're 11 years old till now, how's the industry been?
I think this is quite a tough industry for women, as combat sports. So there's not a lot of education based on female combat athletes and our cycles and how hormones and everything works. So it's been quite a bit of a learning curve. So I think I've got a lot of experience in that. But yes, started martial arts at 11 and I kind of just progressed throughout the years. I'm also considered quite an older athlete. So I'm still competing and I'm 42 years old.
Great.
So the thing is, I've been around the block, I've made the mistakes, but I've also learned from them. So I'm kind of hoping it will help other women as well.
I absolutely love it. And now tell me this, like, have you ever felt like unbelievably strong and then later realized that it was that time of the month?
Yes. Yeah. Well, if you think about your body and if you understand your cycle, each woman goes through a four phases in a cycle. Usually your first phase is where you will feel, that's the days when you're so bloated, you're tired, your body is aching and you've got these cravings. And a lot of the times we think we can't perform in that part of the cycle, but there's actually ways around it. The very next cycle, that's the part where you are super strong, super fit, and that's when you think you kind of own everything.
Yes.
A week later, that changes. And a lot of the times we feel that, are we really as good as we thought we were last week? But you are. It's just your body's needs has changed in that part of the cycle. And you just kind of have to give it what it needs to still perform at its optimum. But it takes time to understand and learn that.
And how long has it taken you to understand this factor of you being an athlete and you being a woman?
Yes.
How long has it taken you to understand it?
It took me quite a while because the information wasn't readily available. 100%. If you go and look at research that you can find about what is actually being tested on female athletes, all research on female athletes today is maybe 6%. 6%. Most of the research on done on male athletes. So now you think for yourself how many female athletes in a variety of sports there is out there, and only 6% of those women are actually checked and seen how their bodies will react to certain things. So we don't really know much. So much of what I've experienced is through my own mistakes I've made, through speaking to the right people, adjusting, and then also teaching. I teach women.
There we go.
So, and I could see what happens to their bodies. I had a female athlete who was prepping for a fight and she was going through a whole weight cut, and that Monday she was perfect on weight, no problem.
Yes.
2 days later, 2 kgs over.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Just because of hormone
fluctuations. Yes, she was going into that next cycle and that next phase in her cycle, and her body changed. But the problem is, it's not so much that we realize what physically happens to our body, is what we do to ourselves psychologically.
100%. And also like how prepped she is for the game, because now she's not going into it as, tough and as strong as she would have been had, there been no fluctuations. And also, you say you're also a teacher. What happens to women trainers who don't have female trainers and who these conversations are tough to have? Because number one, she's killing herself in the background trying to make weight, whereas her body is just in a different phase. How do they get help, and how does that work, especially in your field?
So I've only ever had male coaches, so I understand the difficulty of having that conversation with someone. There's a lot of shame for some other reason attached to women's cycle, which I think is something that needs to change, because there's no shame in it.
Yes.
That's our biology. That's how our bodies work.
Yes.
And I think as soon as we can start opening up the conversation for younger women to feel more comfortable to have the conversation,
I'm glad.
Then this might not be as hard. But for me, growing up, I didn't have that opportunity. So I unfortunately kept a lot of it for myself.
Yeah.
But that's where the problem comes in, because that's where we make a lot of the mistakes, and that's where you put your bodies in harm's way to kind of make that weight and be that top athlete, because you're not doing it the correct way.
Yeah.
So for young girls, I think the education doesn't just come with us as females. I think male coaches need to become more educated on training women.
And how can you do that in your industry? Because a lot of women are going to be left in the by side because they just don't have the information nor the experience.
I think with what you guys are doing, I think that's a brilliant platform for women to start watching and realizing there is people that they can reach out to and speak to. We host a lot of seminars to try and educate.
Yeah.
But my big thing is I think women need to start owning it. You need to start understanding your own body.
Yeah.
Track your own cycle, research, and especially make sure you understand what you're putting in your body. Because at the end of the day, it's an engine and you're fueling it. And are you fueling it the correct way?
Yeah.
So it's understand your body's needs.
So how do you prep your body during your cycle for big events, or do you train around your cycle?
Yes, I do. So obviously, if you think about the different phases that's in a cycle, different phases will need different things.
Yes.
But it also means that you can train a certain way at a specific phase. So usually when you're in your first phase, that's when your body needs the most care. So there I'll prioritize recovery. I still train. My cycle is not an excuse for me to not give it my all.
Love it.
But I do understand that in certain parts of that phases, I need more recovery. So I will make that priority. Also, certain phases you'll maybe need like more iron. And you'll add that to your diet.
Yes.
Some phases you'll need a little bit more calories because your body is changing, it's developing, and it's kind of burning more energy. So you have to keep that in mind, especially in fight camp. So that's very important to do. So I plan according and I train according, because your injury rate can also increase at certain phases. So if you push yourself as a woman in a certain phase too far, you can actually injure yourself. So you kind of adapt and adjust accordingly.
Absolutely. So that because of the hormones, it just feels different.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's certain phases where, like you said, that phase where you feel like you're on top of the world and you can just own it and take it. You can take a beating, you can take punches, you feel great. The very next week, someone bumps into you and you were like, that kind of hurts, but it shouldn't, but it does. Because your body is increased in estrogen, and estrogen increases sensitivity. So your skin feels more sensitive. That's the times when everything hurts, your breast, everything is just, and you just kind of want to be left alone. But you can't because you're training. So, but it happens.
And also with your female coaches that you coach, like how do you talk to them about the psychological effects about this? Because they may not really understand that, okay, if it's just my body going through this, it's not my mind. Because as soon as it happens to your body, you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst. What's going on?
It happens. And I think that's why, if I look back now, it's a lot of athletes, and especially in young women, if they're not careful and if they don't understand that what their body going through is natural and it's not any indication of their performance or their value, they kind of start creating almost like a persona on themselves, like they're not good enough.
There we go. And I can definitely feel that.
Yes. And I think that's kind of what we have to understand. You're always good enough. It's just your body needs something different this week. And coaches need to reiterate that with their female athletes.
It's so important, especially because even when you train as a woman, there's certain weeks that you go out into the gym and you are not functioning as well. You're not on top of it. You're not as clear. And you just don't have that focus. And sometimes you do make it a you thing. You do make it a value thing to be like, I think that I'm just not cut out for this. But whereas that's not the fact.
That's true.
Absolutely.
You see it in the gyms, especially with this, especially in, I think, a male-dominant sport. Women think they have to compete with men. You don't have to. You've got your own place. You've got your own.
That's how society, kind of maps it out for us, that we need to be competing with men, because for them it's just like such a a beautiful plateau where they don't have to be dealing with all of these fluctuations.
But
and
I think we as women should change that for ourselves.
We do.
And I think we need to put the narrative and make sure that we stick with that. And you must understand that if this week you are performing with the men and you kind of, you're reaching the same limits to them, next week you might not.
Yeah.
But there's something else you can do. You can work on your skill at that stage. I've seen many women that are on a skill level much higher than the men that they train with.
Really?
They just are. Will we ever be physically or strong like men? Maybe not. We won't. But that should be okay because we've got our own place.
Yeah.
We just have to be happy there.
Yeah. And I absolutely love the fact that you've had so much time in the space, the kickboxing space, where you started at 11 years old and you went on to being a young woman, and now you're fully within your womanhood, and just you've had so much experience with the different phases of your life. And for me, tell me, would you say to people out there that it actually does get better, especially with the knowledge, with the experience? Because some women just like once you've passed your peak within your 20s, like that's it. But you're still competing. You're still competing, which is absolutely fantastic.
It was a choice I made because most people would have retired by now. But in South Africa, I don't feel as a female combat athlete they get the airtime that they deserve.
There we go.
So I was offered a fight, a world title fight in October. And at first I was like, I'm not sure, the girl she's in her 20s, so your body is different, your recovery is better, you can train easier. But I'm doing this for a specific reason. I want people to understand that you kind of decide when you stop. So it's not decided by other people.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's another myth that needs to be debunked. Yes, we understand that our bodies perform at certain rates, especially as we grow older. But it being the end is really up to you.
It's up to you.
And here you are, you're doing it, and you're empowering young females. And tell me what it is that you want to leave them with. What's that one thing that you want the women that you train and the women out there to know about their bodies, about being an athlete, no matter what age you are as a woman? What's the takeaway for you?
Learn what your body wants.
Yes.
And that's the biggest mistake I think we make as female athletes. We let other people tell us this is how your body works. Find out for yourself.
Yes. That intuition.
That and do the research. Yeah. And make sure you understand what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
And also if something doesn't, if you are doing something that doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is we put so much pressure on ourselves as women because you have to look a certain way. You have to kind of behave a certain way, and there's an expectation. But a lot of that expectation we kind of place upon ourselves. So I think the big thing is decide what you want and research and find out how to do that.
Yeah.
Education. That's the biggest platform, and we are not doing enough of it.
Yeah. So I love the fact that we're having these fully disclosed conversations. And you said something that was so nice. You said your hormones are not your excuse.
100%.
And you keep on going. Yes. Now, have you ever been dismissed as, you're just hormonal? I
think we need a completely different YouTube channel for that conversation. How many times as women have we heard that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So like in our everyday life, but like I'm sure it's so different for you because you depend on your performance. Yes. So how did that make you feel?
So there was two sides to that. Yeah. The one part is it kind of got dismissed, like it's not a thing. And then I think being dismissed as a woman for something that's happening to your body, it really makes you like feel like something is wrong with you. Like you're not allowed to talk about this. Yeah. And that was more harder for me to accept. Then if someone says you're a bit opinionated, you must be hormonal, fine, I'll own it. But to say that your hormones doesn't matter and it doesn't affect you as a woman, that was much harder for me to deal with. And that was almost unacceptable, to be honest.
Absolutely. But what do you do? Because as soon as someone says that, do you actually like address it? Do you keep it going? Do you just play around with it in your mind?
Like, I feel you change the rules.
Okay, cool.
So the organization that we created, we wanted to have a place for women. But knowing all of this and the changes that happens and the misconception, what we actually did is we built in a little bit of a saving grace for women that are going through their cycle and that have to cut weight. and have to make weight at a specific time, because your body will change, your body fluctuates.
Yeah.
So now if you're a female athlete, you can track your cycle, and if you see you're going to fall in a little bit of a period where there's a problem, you can apply for a grace.
That's amazing.
Now a female athlete does not have to starve herself, does not have to break her body down even more to make weight and do what she loves.
I love that. And just to give our YouTubers just a little bit of context, because you're a fighter and there are categories to fighting. And if you don't make that category, you don't fight. And all of the work that you've put in just falls away. And because of our hormones, like we could fluctuate like within a week.
Yes, like in the same week.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy. But like, how have the psychological effects been for your athletes? Like, just walk us through like what your athletes have gone through themselves just with those things, and how they, with the changes, and how they've been able to come to you, or were they able to come to you? Did you pick it up?
So I think it was a combination. Like we said before, we're not, as women, it's kind of frowned upon to talk about this.
A little bit.
You know, I think it makes people uncomfortable, and it makes us uncomfortable. It wasn't an easy thing I think for most of us to start with and talk about this. But what I picked up was our athletes, they would try and make weight, but they also don't always know where they are in their cycles. And then leading up to that weight cut, they realize they might not make that weight. But physically, nothing has changed. Like, they haven't picked up fat or anything. It's literally water weight. But psychologically for them, it's like, I'm failing. I've failed my gym. I've failed my coach. I'm not going to be able to compete. And the embarrassment of that. So let me just starve myself more, sit in the sauna longer, try and sweat all of this out. But you're actually just doing damage to your body. So I started picking that up, firstly with the girls that I'm teaching and training myself, and we started changing that. And now we've actually gone to a point where this regulating body for K1 has accepted a grace period of that 300 grams for ladies. So it's difficult to change people's minds, but if you can show them the science, it is, you know, they can't deny that.
It's truly amazing, because just like I can't wrap my head around it, the fact that you could be disqualified, totally scrapped out of the competition for what your hormones are doing, and the fact that the body itself doesn't even recognize it. You had to, I mean, how many people have competed, and how many people have just been told, no, you can't compete because of what they're going through?
Internationally, there's been female athletes who were world champions. They were the current title holders, undefeated. They couldn't, their bodies fluctuated in that cycle, in their period, and they couldn't make weight, and their titles got taken away from them. Can you imagine what that must do to you psychologically?
What?
You're the best in the world, but because your body, in a sense, failed you, you got stripped of everything
also,
that you've worked for.
It's not your body failing you.
That's
another
that's what
thing.
they tell themselves.
Yeah. It's not your body failing you. You're being a woman. 100%. And for me, is that being corrected on an international level, or is it still being left alone? What's going on?
It's a big debate. There is some organizations that are doing what we're doing with trying to understand women better, but it is a battle. And I think it's just that women like myself and women like that specific champion, they're very much now more open and vocal about, but listen, I didn't not make weight because I was eating junk food. I was doing what I was doing. My body just wasn't where it was supposed to be. And people need to understand that a little bit.
But also that saying, my body wasn't where it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Is that even fair? Because
not to her.
Not to any woman.
No.
Because yes, you don't make that category of weight. We get that. But at the end of the day, her performance, is it still the same? Like, her skill set, it's still the same.
Yes.
Everything is still the same. It's just
she's still the best in the world.
Difference in hormones.
Yes.
So do we even say that her body wasn't where it's supposed to be?
According to them.
Yeah.
And their, I almost want to say their standards, it wasn't.
This almost brings a fear to our hormones as women. And I just want to know, on your part, when did you stop fearing your hormones and actually just owning it?
I think the big part of it was when I realized I need to be strong at where I weigh. So yes, I also do a weight cut when I fight, but minimal. Where in the past I used to do major weight cuts to fight at a certain weight because I thought that's where I was strong.
Yeah.
And it was actually my current coach that said to me, why not weigh what you weigh, but be strong there?
Yeah.
And I think that's when I realized that I need to understand my body, give it what it needs, and that's where I'll perform at my best.
There we go.
And I've been proving that still. Because like I said to you previously, I'm still in our industry, I'm the eldest female athlete, but I'm still beating everybody else. But according to society and according to what is right and wrong, they should be the ones winning because they're the younger ones, their cycles is more in tune. But it just comes to show that because I understand me and I took the time and I did the research and I make sure I fuel my body when it needs to, give it the rest it needs to, I can perform at my best.
You kick butt.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. And please do continue doing that work of just debunking these myths.
Yes, we have to.
And teaching especially your younger ladies. And because within yourself, you've got the experience. You've been through, all of the trials. Like, how do you impart that knowledge for them not to fear their hormones, but to just work with it? Like, what kind of conversations do you have with them about that?
The big thing where I start, like I do have seminars with the younger girls. The first thing I'll ask them is, do you even know where you are in your cycle? And I promise you, it's scary how many of them don't. They know it's coming at some stage, but they don't understand it.
Like, what is it and what your body's doing
and
how
what's
it's
happening. They don't. So the big thing is teaching them to track.
I think you should write a book because I feel like there needs to be a reference because besides just having online conversations, I think it's so important, especially as an athlete. And a lot of women throughout a lot of different sporting codes are going to be able to just go and reference to be like, actually, this is the information that I need.
Yes.
Just think about it.
I'll think about it.
Think about it.
Okay.
And also your mindset shift throughout your cycles.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Tell me about that, especially now going into competition. Now you're competing at a high level. I mean, but you're used to competing at a high level. How do you manage your mindset shift and your energy surges throughout your cycles?
That's quite a tough one. I think even now, even knowing everything I know, that's sometimes difficult to do, to be honest, because your cycle does affect you emotionally. You do get angry. You sometimes do feel sad. And, there's always that saying that there's motivation and there's discipline. I think it's just if you are going to be a top performing athlete, is even during that cycle, just stay disciplined.
There we go.
But even though you're feeling the way you're feeling, it's legitimate. Feel it, go through it, but stay disciplined. Don't use it as an excuse not to go training because now I don't feel like it. Stay disciplined.
But the feelings are so legitimate they're so strong. Annoyance, frustration.
But use it. Use it if you're
first you need to get out of bed.
First
you need to get out of bed.
Get the discipline to get your shoes on, get your gear on and go. But then use that emotions and train like there's no tomorrow. If that is what you are as a performance athlete. But you see, not all women are necessarily athletes, and I don't think we just speak to those women. There's some women that they just want to be healthier. They just want to feel better.
There we go.
And it's the same for them. It's okay. It's okay if today is the day that you stay in bed and your body just needs a rest. Give it. But don't do it every day. Don't use it.
Now, how do we balance it out? Because they want to feel good.
They do.
But now their bodies are in a space where that's just not the case. So how do we balance the two? Like, is it, as you say, know where your body is, know what your cycle is, so that within your mind, you're absolutely, you're prepared. You're prepared that, okay, I'm going into a slump. Don't take it in. Just go through it. It's something like that, maybe.
I would say that's quite a nice way. I think also we need to be a little bit more forgiving with ourselves. So if it's going to fall in that part of your cycle where you are like today, listen, maybe you are like going through a really tough day. You're very emotional. You don't really want to be around people. But then what we do is we don't go training. But then later on, we beat ourselves up for not going to training or not doing, or you feel worse. Or maybe you have a craving and now you do eat the ice cream, and now you beat yourself up for eating the ice cream.
But you're going to go eat more ice cream because you feel even worse.
You feel guilty. But actually what we should be doing is just be a little bit more forgiving with ourselves, because we are, even now, I mean, I'm in fight camp. I'm fighting in October. On Saturday I was supposed to train, but I couldn't. My body was sore. I was just not feeling it.
Yeah.
So I didn't. So all I did was train on Sunday. So I didn't beat myself up. I didn't break myself down emotionally. I gave my body what it needed for that day.
There we go.
But I didn't excuse myself from what I need to do long term and for the goal. But I think we put so much pressure on ourselves as women.
But also right now you have a time crunch. You have October to make sure that you are just functioning at a certain place for you to be able to get the title, which you are getting.
Definitely.
So like how do you balance that out, being able to give yourself a day but knowing that you have a goal? Because I feel like leading up to the day, there's no more time.
Time gets very limited. You have to use the time you've got to the optimum. I would not have been able to do that if I didn't understand how my body functions. So understanding what I went through on Saturday, and that I wasn't physically, I would not have been even if I trained on Saturday, I would have not been able to give my coach what he needed of me to make me better for the 31st. Because I was just not there. I was mentally not there. My body was sore. I needed the rest. But on Sunday, different story. Now I can give him my best. So I think we have to understand that. So leading up to that, with the time being limited, is recovery is a major issue that we don't allow ourselves. And a big part of our cycle is we need to have recovery days. So that recovery day can maybe be on a Monday. Why must it always just be on a specific day? My recovery day was Saturday.
There we go. But my thing, what kind of like, I think why we have these conversations is that what if you feel that way around the time you have to compete? What happens then? What do we do? How do we psych ourselves into it? Because we can't say, okay, I need to give myself a day because you're competing today.
It's that week. I think that is like, how much do you want it?
Yeah.
Like I want that title more than anything.
Yes.
And that's even for various of reasons.
Yes.
So I will not let my hormones keep me back from getting it.
Okay.
But I will be respectful towards myself. I will give my body what it needs. But my goal does not change. And my hormones does not hold me back.
I hear you.
But I work with it to get where I want to be.
Okay, so on the days that you have to perform, you need to be mentally
very
tough.
Mindful.
But when you do have a day to rest, take it.
And don't feel guilty.
There we go. Okay, that's where the balance is. Because I don't want people to listen out there and be like, okay, let's say I'm competing on the day that I feel my worst. So I don't want them to feel disempowered, to be like, there's nothing that can happen. Your mind can carry you through it.
Yes, you can.
Okay, cool.
As long as, but take care of your body.
Exactly.
On that day, let's say my Saturday was my fight day, right?
Yes.
Let's go like that. And now you're like, everything is hurting. So probably every punch is going to hurt more than it usually does. So now it's like, can my body do what I need it to do? Yes, it can. Your body is feeling differently and you're in a different part of your cycle, but you are not weak.
Okay.
You, as a woman, we are not weak. Our body is just different that day. But can I still get the job done? 100%. So yes, so it's getting your mind and your body in balance.
Absolutely. That's where the discipline comes in.
The discipline.
I love it. I love it because this is where we're just asking the question about the fear, because as women, then we start to become nervous and anxious to be like, okay, fine, is there a pill that I can take on the day to just
make it all disappear? Come back on Monday.
You understand? Because that's the thing. With men, they don't have to think about these things.
No.
These things aren't things that are within their regime, but we do.
Yes.
So with the mental toughness, is that also something that you preach to your students?
Definitely. I think women in society in general, we had to learn to be a little bit tougher. Things isn't as easy for us. Even like, if I can only speak from a combat athlete's point of view. I don't have a lot of experience in other sports, but we have a tendency that we have to put in a little bit more every now and again.
Grit.
And but I think it kind of develops a specific characteristic in females, and that self-empowerment is something we should hold on to.
Absolutely.
Instead of break it down.
Absolutely.
And I think that all of these things are hormone cycles, and you having to push through a week where you can't train, deep down, it can either break you down or build you up. But I think if you use that discipline and you push through those weeks that you are feeling a little bit weaker, I think it gives you a grit. It makes you mentally stronger. And eventually it all adds up.
For sure.
But if you use it as an excuse, it has the opposite effect. So I think we just have to be careful for ourselves.
We do, and just learn the science around it, and also just learn, as you say, learn your body, which is something that I think is a big takeaway from every single thing, the entire conversation with our hormones, that our hormones are not our excuses. If you feel differently on fight day, it's your mind. Your mind's going to actually carry you through it. So I think those are the big takeaways. Your hormones are not your excuses, and also you need to have grit. You need to be disciplined.
You do.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait for you to come back with the title.
Neither can I. Thank you so much. I really appreciated chatting to you.